Alright, I have the wrong overlay on. Fantastic. Good way to start the game here. My apologies. But let me just go here and click this and move it down to, not Red Bull, oops, to the ESL WCS interface. Son of a gun. Even though this one's better in literally every way, we're not allowed to use it. So, my apologies, guys. But we are going to kick off a brand new best of 3. This is Group D for Copa America. Only 2 players can get through to the round of 8 and join the other 6 contestants who have already qualified. Spawning here in the lower central portion on merry-go-round, it's going to be from Solaris Gaming, the blue Zerg player JonSnow. And Zombie appears to still be AFK, so I'll just introduce the other guy in the top right corner of the map. Of course, we all know him to be sponsored by Asus, but was recently granted as a sponsorship by Corsair. It's going to be the Red Protoss, Desrow, aka Desrow. Now, this would just be timing for you. Hey, Zombie Gub, I don't know if you can still hear me right now, but my headsets are doing that thing where they die for 4 minutes, so I kind of have to YOLO cast it, I guess, for the first 4. I'll say something to you when they're not broken.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I guess you did the intros already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go shoot my cat. So.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I can barely hear you because it's ringing so hard, so I'm just gonna turn these off and let the power reset. So I'll see you in about 4 minutes. To explain to the stream real quick what the issue with this is, this happens. I do apologize. Like once a month, and it's usually not an issue because it usually happens off of stream, but. I've got a pair of headsets. They are wireless. Rifkin, don't get wireless technology. You should know better. I do know better, and they're plugged in actually as I speak.
You just got cut off.
But for some reason, there's a defect with it. You can't get a refund. I've looked into it. It's such a common problem, but Logitech refuses to acknowledge that it's real. Where eventually they'll just stop working for no reason. The battery charge is full, but it refuses to read it as full. So you have to leave them off for about 4-ish minutes, and it'll.
Okay, well I'm just gonna assume that he stopped talking, and now I'm gonna talk about.
I know a lot of you guys are Zombie Grub fans. Don't worry, she'll be back ASAP.
Awesome. So JonSnow goes for a 3 hatch for 4 pool, which is a little surprising, really, because Desrow, I mean, he's definitely not a pro player. Anyways,
so we didn't talk a lot about this after the intros because we had that.
Are there any pros you can say that about? I don't think so.
JonSnow did play this a little bit greedy.
But that was just a polite way of saying that Desrow does.
You know, it's not 3 hatch gas pool, but it's 3 hatch for 4 pool.
This kind of makes sense though if he comes into the series going up against a player like Desrow.
If he does his research, he's going to know ahead of time that Desrow isn't really the guy who typically does things like cannon rushes. We've seen early gateways out of him before, but typically this is a guy who very comfortably steps into the late game PvZ. And you know, it's not that it's the only move he's got. No, Desrow is able to do multiple things, but for the most part, we find him excelling, I guess, in the mid to late game rather than early game aggression, rather than poking in with a bunch of
all up to what Desrow's going to do. I feel.
Silly,
I mean,
I know,
Zerg, we all know, is a reactive race.
It's weird to phrase it like that because 4 gates can win you a game. I've seen 4 gates kill Koreans off 2 bases.
They're going to be able to the ones who decide the pace of the game.
Not the one.
But
it's not like he has to do it to win.
I mean, like, what do you really expect from a Zerg player? They're either going to go for, like, double link upgrades, or they're going to go for
as far as JonSnow's concerned, they'll come into this match. I mean, Desrow's definitely got a lot out there about him. He's been around for a while. He streams very frequently. I'm sure replays were accessible through friends / ladder matches / if he's done his homework. I think JonSnow has got the power to take Desrow down. A big part of this comes into the fact that I know JonSnow to be a very dedicated player when it comes to winning matches. There's not a lot of StarCraft2 players that will go through the diligence of finding replays, running builds, writing everything down.
I'm just now starting
a bit of a scuffle over here.
And do it at the fastest speed possible.
Actually, gonna cut out those links. So no scouting information for JonSnow. Little sad to see.
A stalker as well as that Zealot militia.
There was only one gateway, and that on 3 bases like this, he wasn't gonna have to panic. But what he will have to do is get these links out here pretty quickly.
Much to really tell there.
Desrow doesn't.
But he won't be applying a lot of aggression, at least not in the immediate future. The Zealot and Mothership
he's gonna come down here and pressure this a little bit. If the Zealot can get at least 1 swipe on the Queen, the Mothership Core kills the Queen. Then the Mothership Core kills a lot of drones. Sadly, again, that 1 swipe
a few more lings, that's really
you have to chew through a lot of lings to get there first.
It's not gonna be much else. I mean, the scouting that it gets is, it's not a whole lot.
But as it stands, currently, JonSnow doesn't look to be in any immediate danger.
Through the 3rd base, so Desrow just has to leave and maybe
double
later
gateways, forging a really nice wall up here at the front,
and
and quite frankly, I think Desrow's gonna be fine. The amount of links coming are really not that threatening. There's not a ling all in.
So Blink Stalkers are a lot more popular in PvZ than they ever were. Been on a phone. Yeah, they're a lot more popular than they ever were, and it's just because it's so versatile, you know? Like, you can do a lot of things with these blink openers. You can be a little aggressive, and then, of course, you blink back home.
Oh, apparently Zombie Girl's also doing commentary here,
to be a little more mobile on the map, and it also led into, of course, Colossus. And then, of course, you have your +2 upgrade immediately, and easy access to High Templars should you need them against Vipers. It's also very important. We have been seeing a lot of 2 or 3 base blink all-ins. I don't like the 2 base version. I prefer the 3 base. But it's certainly a possibility. We actually do have +1/+1 lings on the way for JonSnow. Okay, so I did mention this as a possibility for the Zerg player, but you just normally expect roaches. I mean, that's what most people do. Beep. I don't know if anyone else heard that. That might have been just me. I think Rifkin's still fiddling with his headphones. But actually, he should start +1 Carapace. He did get a second Evo Chamber. There it goes. All right. So yeah, but this is definitely a cool style. Of course, you get a lot of lings. You almost guarantee a kill on the third. At the very least, a cancel on the third by getting these 30 or so lings. That's actually exactly what JonSnow is trying to do. He sees how many sentries there are, and even if he doesn't get the cancel, he can at least maybe get a couple of sentries and a lot of the force field energy that they would have otherwise had. I mean, he's really not going to get this third. Not that Desrow was actually here. He would have had to hit before Desrow moved his forces over. Are you there, Rifkin? I'm getting some confusion. Are you back? Rifkin, please.
Okay, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, this isn't gonna last long. I told you I was gonna solo cast, but you keep solo casting because my heads are dead. So keep going. My head's gonna die. Headset's gonna die in a sec.
Wait, you said I should solo cast. Oh my god. So, sorry everyone for double solo casting, I guess? Like, what the... Before this even started, he said that my head... Whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Audio, technical difficulties, I don't know. At least it's the first game. I don't know if it actually makes it worse or better. I don't know. But anyways, I guess they're still dead, so that's great. Desrow is gearing up for this push. It is Blink Stalkers, and it will have +2. That's a lot of lings, though, and not a lot of force fields. Oh, well, actually, the force fields were okay so far. But it's actually just too many lings. And with the Hydras coming up as well, I think Desrow made a big mistake here. Yeah, he loses everything, and actually no recall either. No time warp and no recall. He loses everything that he has, but he's still reinforcing with Blink Stalkers. This is probably not going to work. I mean, 15 Hydras on the way? Yeah, they're unupgraded, but... I think that's still enough, especially with the lings. Any amount of lings, he gets a couple of drones. Maybe he can target the queens. There's the recall. That was odd. Super odd.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's like actually fixed now. So anyways, yeah, I don't know, I hate these things. I should really just go buy a new pair, as chat suggests, but sadly I've not made of money here, guys. Anyways, I guess a small miscommunication. I thought I had said, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I thought I said I was just going to solo cast because I couldn't hear you, but anyways, first 4 or 5, whatever, 10 minutes of this game. We're through. We're at the Ling Hydra stage of the game. And I don't know if you touched base on it, but one thing I was a little concerned about was JonSnow did this strategy without a lot of creep spread. I mean, he's got halfway through the map, but going offensive outside Desrow's base like this is ballsy had there been Colossus available. But Desrow went for Storm, which I thought was really cool.
Well, he's counterattacking at the natural, but yeah, I think it's just too late. That attack was, I mean, he should have recalled with that first attack, I feel. I mean, he doesn't have any units. JonSnow has really good units against the small amount of Blink Stalkers that Desrow has.
I'm actually surprised the Zealots are getting so much done here, just kind of cutting away from the Hydras right now, wait for the Stalkers to come back in. He's going to try and focus down the Nexus. It will just barely go down, but JonSnow's also going to lose a lot of these very expensive Hydras. Yeah, that was a bit awkward. I wasn't sure what he was doing there.
I guess he figured the Lings would actually clean it up. But a huge reinforcement line is coming. It's mostly Lings, but they are upgraded Lings against not a whole lot of Zealots.
But Storms are finally out, so that splash damage looking a little bit better. Sadly, doesn't get a whole lot out. Does force out that Archon really quick. Desrow's in a very awkward spot as well. Yeah, he's got to knock down the rocks to actually get the Archon out of the base, but he already lost that third, so there's no reason for him to over-dedicate to the defense now. This really does suck, though, because he's now stuck on 2 bases, whereas JonSnow has recently secured that 4th. Also, let's not forget the +3 blink on Stalkers. Fantastic, great, but you have to have a lot of them. 5 Stalkers does not cut it.
He's gonna try to make something work, I guess, with the Storms. He is looking to expand behind it again, as he stated about 400 minerals. Nope, actually just uses them. But it's just, this might work. JonSnow actually trying to go in a different tech right now. Getting Aspire, getting Infestation Pit.
Yeah, we also got possible storm drops lit up into this. I like this too, because it doesn't look like he's going for the mineral line, but it's more of just like a safe way to shuttle the Templar around rather than having them get sniped quickly. So kind of a cool move there out of Desrow. Grubby's really the only other player I know that really does that too frequently, but still cool to see nonetheless. It's a lot of storms holstered for these Lings though.
Storms go down. There's not actually a lot of stuff for JonSnow. I mean, he did great damage to the army, but then he suddenly just fizzled out and he's the one with no army now.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem with having thrown away all those Hydras. He never remade them. I mean, Hydras right now probably would have held a lot of what's coming, but Lings don't do well versus Storms. I mean, Storms 80 damage, and the Lings only have like 30 health. You only have to be in there for about 2 seconds to lose all your Lings. It's not as bad or deadly as we've seen in Starbow and such, but still, nonetheless, it ends up working here. And the Archons are going to do work on these Lings so they continue to come forward. Blink Stalkers have started to mass up. You know, before there was only about 5, and that wasn't really cutting it, but now that he's up to a larger number, such as 16, it's looking a little bit better here for Desrow. Yeah, GG.
Yeah, very surprising. I thought I yelled it. Oh, whoops.
Alright, so the wrong overlay, double solo casting, and a messy start to that game. That couldn't have gone better here on Copa America, guys. Thanks for tuning in!
I think you could have very well said that you were going to solo cast, but the last time your headphones messed up, I solo casted, so I just assumed.
Well, either way, at least it didn't last the entire game. Chat did a good job policing us, and once again, that's not something that should happen really more than once and ever, guys. So that's, but was map number 2 is going to be King Sejong. Okay, so hopefully we'll get an invite to that here in a moment. The other series looks like they did manage to find the players, so both Major and Days are being played out on the Spanish stream, for those who want to go watch that. Of course, all the streams are listed on Team Liquid. There's the Brazilian Spanish, and of course this is the English. But at the moment, I think the lobby's going up. We tried Ninja joining here off our wonderful admin.
She just invited me, I mean.
Wow. You get an invite, I gotta sneak my way in? It's so unfair.
I don't know.
Oh, Desrow wants me to fix it. Alright, I gotta go fix Desrow's name. Des, capital R-O-W. There you go. Alright, Desrow, this thing's fixed.
Oh, the Twitch thing.
Okay, so we got things started. Desrow's nickname has been corrected for this next game. All I have to do is actually touch up the map intro here. King Sejong Station, PVZ. There we go. All right. This is what happens when I don't wear a hat, guys. I think this is what this bottom lines down to more than anything else. So anyways, see you guys in a second, King Sejong. Oh, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I tried to put his Lord High Master Desrow here on the overlay, but it's too long and it doesn't fit. Oops. There, Lord Desrow? Lord Desrow? No, let's make him Desrow. Alright guys, silliness aside, welcome back. This is game number 2 if you're just joining us here on the cast. It's the first match in this group stage. Major versus Days is currently going on at the exact same time on the Spanish stream if you'd like to check it out, but we got a bit of cheese, so let's get these intros done right. Spawning here in the bottom lower corner of the map, the bottom right corner actually map, from Solaris Gaming, it's going to be the Blue Zerg player, JonSnow.
In the upper left is the red Protoss. It's Desrow.
We have some Bronze League tactics being implemented at this current time. Forcing out a lot of chatting tends to lead to a cheese one way or the other, whether you're receiving it or giving it. And JonSnow, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was an 8 pool by the looks of it. So this is not going to be sorted with gas. And one of the things that this is really meant to do is shut down people who decide to go for things like a Nexus First, which Desrow appears to be doing. So this is not a build order automatic win the game, but like a build order get really far ahead early on. Desrow holds with probes, and you better expand behind it. I think is a better way to describe it.
Yeah. It's so funny that the chatter was not the one doing the cheese.
Right, yeah, it's usually the reverse of that.
But... Yeah, it's usually why you chat, so they're distracted, but now Desrow, ultimately distracting himself, will get the late scout. Oh, well, he'll see the lings on the way, but still, you know, he wouldn't likely see the pool go down. I don't know.
I mean, you don't want to cancel the Nexus immediately either. You want to waste the time on those lings, but, ooh, does decide to get rid of it. Gonna throw down a Forge instead. So, gonna use the money for something else, but, I mean, if he had left that up, the lings, their goal is not to come kill probes. Their goal is to chip away at that Nexus. You know, let them attack it for like a good 15-20 seconds, then cancel it. That'll buy you time to get your Zealot out, but Desrow wanting to rush a cannon in his mineral line instead is not a bad alternate solution. But you have to kind of consider too, guys, like the goal for JonSnow is already accomplished. He knocked down the natural.
Did he throw them the Forge when he saw the lings?
Yeah, that was the whole thing with the probe. Canceled the Nexus immediately, Forge came down by the mineral line.
Yeah, okay.
So JonSnow should have stayed there, because now, yeah, Desert's just going to hold position around the cannon and micro the probes out when they get low.
I feel like he's already, like, besides, you know, losing the Nexus, now losing all this mining time, and also forcing out a Forge that you otherwise would not have gotten. Like, I don't really care if there's a cannon there at this point. It's like JonSnow was actually, you know, going one base all in, like, with Banelings and Speedlings behind this.
Yeah, if this was a one-base build, what Desert's doing is actually very perfect. I mean, you're not... It's not to chastise him, it's just he's, I think, overreacted to the situation, thinking this was a little bit more dedicated than it was. Of course, for him, he didn't get the scout off fully with the probe, so he didn't really know that there wasn't gas behind this. The natural base for JonSnow, as predicted, did come down behind this aggression, and the lings aren't suiciding for probe kills. They could try, and maybe they get 1 or 2, but realistically, with a cannon up, you're not wasting a lot of time here.
Yeah. Well, with 2 Zealots now, JonSnow has to be the one that's a little afraid. I mean, the Queens can take care of the Zealots should they make their way across the map, but maybe we'll want to get a few more lings. Now he's kind of the one that won't have the information. He's not going to be able to get back into the main. Well, I guess he sends an overload in there, which is what he's planning on doing.
Yeah, this is a little bit odd. You gotta consider, guys, the money he spent on that Forge, the money he spent on the Cyber Core. I mean, had he done this the other way around, okay, he's set. It's not like Desrow's out of the game because he changed his build order up, but it was a little unfortunate because we saw him go for that greedier opening. Now he slams the Nexus down with the Mothership Core out. He's pretty much set to hold off Lings. Had JonSnow done something crazy with the follow-up, like Roaches, like maybe Swarm Hosts, there's some players who can do magic with both of those, Starbuck being one of them, but JonSnow is not. He is playing a pretty standard game behind this. Drone's up quite a bit, actually, up to 31, and that's not stopping anytime soon, because there's no reason for him to fear. He's got Lings scouting for Zealots, he's got Lings scouting for anything that leaves this base, and as far as he's concerned, Desrow's just staying at home, and it's exactly what Desrow's doing.
JonSnow not in too much of a hurry to get to third, even though he could definitely afford it. I don't know how this Ling... I don't know why this Ling is able to attack like it is. There it goes. But Desrow using that Forge. You got it. Why not use it? Now throws down the wall. And JonSnow, I really... why no third, man? Why no third with 500 minerals?
That's a good question. I think right now he's considering going towards that Hive tech. But even so, you're right, he's still got minerals to float with that.
Hive,
I
really?
guess, or, sorry, layer. I think one of the things, though, is... I mean, for him to take a third, you got to consider one of the options for Desrow to respond to this. I mean, he's scouted, so it's not the case. And once again, I question mark that no third still. But like, if this Overlord didn't scout, your thoughts are, okay, my opponent was going for the Nexus expand. What else can he do now? I've beaten him to one base. Maybe he all-ins me. So, you know, a third might be actually more of a vulnerability than anything good. But I think at this point with the scout, he's recognized, all right, I can and should take this. Like, I'm floating minerals. There's no reason not to.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely wanted to use all of his minerals to go into drones. I think he had a larva problem that he was not accounting for or something. But yeah, that third could have gone down a little bit sooner for sure. Getting a single Evo chamber. He did go for double upgraded Lings last game. I mean, they weren't bad. It wasn't like he chose like a bad build order. At least I don't think so. But not doing it again. Obviously, there's no second Evo chamber. Just Carapace. Interesting. Okay, so Ling Hydra with... Oh, okay. There goes the missile attack. That's what you usually see. That's why I was wondering.
Yeah. So Desrow hasn't gotten any scouting information in this game. Big part of this was, of course, that probe being denied. The nice thing for the Phoenix is it sees, okay, that third's really late. It's actually worse if you see no third, because then, you know, some sort of all-in's coming your way. But as he scouts the main, he sees the layer text done, so, you know, something could possibly coming out of this. Sees the Hydra Den. For Desrow to get a good read off this, he's probably going to know exactly what's coming. And last game, you guys got to remember, despite the horrible information through 2 solo casts, you know, Desrow more or less wasn't prepared for JonSnow's aggression. We did see him lose a third, but he turned that game around and he won. So this time he is prepared. He knows exactly what's coming. We see the Robo on the way. I mean, we're going to have Colossus out sooner than later. And he's been churning out those weapon upgrades like crazy behind this.
JonSnow's Ling attack not actually having speed quite yet. There it goes. There it finishes. If there was a third, well, that definitely would have been a cancel. Desrow actually decides to go up to straight up to Colossus. If he was planning on Blink, seeing the Ling Hydra attack, definitely, you know, it's questionable to go for Ling, you know, Ling Stalkers when Ling Hydras are on the way. So he's going to want to just kind of turtle in his 2 bases for a little bit. Maybe he can squeeze out a third. He's actually going to try, but it's going to be so hard to actually keep that alive with only 1 Colossus, if that.
Yeah. I mean, the splash damage is nice.
Oh, supply block.
Oh, supply blocking Chronos. Oh, that pain. I've felt that before. Actually, the worst is when you, like, you're just totally not paying attention. You, like, Chrono on 9 instead of 10. Ugh. Hashtag Protoss problems.
I've never had that problem. Not yet, anyways.
Alright, well, we don't most of our arguments being forced out here. He already did get the group spine, so the Hydra's attack should be fine, but this is kind of... I feel like a repeat of last game. You know, the Hydras are good, the Lings were numerous. He got some very solid damage down on Desrow's third, but he threw away his entire army, so he had no fallback. Yeah. This is not a map you really fall back on either. It's a long distance to run, and Hydras, even with muscular augments, admittedly, are not that fast off of creep.
Oh, the Colossus pops out just in time. One of a couple of force fields to definitely make that worthwhile. You know, he doesn't have extended thermal lance, but force fields make up for a lot, and there's no way he's going to get a cancel on this third, and Desrow really pushes back, but also keeps this third alive. It's pretty good.
For now, there are still a lot of Hydras here, and without extended thermal lance, he's got to be careful engaging, because as it stands, these Hydras have the exact same range as that Colossus.
Yeah, I think the Nexus finishing when it did definitely helped out. A single cannon, it just does so much extra damage because it just doesn't die. It's a Nexus, so JonSnow will pull back, and he might be a little scared about committing, trading because of last game, where the trades seem to be very, very good. I mean, usually killing a Protoss army as a Zerg player, you're the one with the faster production, you're the one with the better economy, so that's a good thing. The last time it wasn't, so maybe a little hesitant to do so. So it goes up to Hive and gets a 4th base.
Yeah, I really like the 4th out of JonSnow the most here, but it's funny too, Desrow with that Photon Overcharge, 13 minutes of the game, usually this is kind of tapped out. A lot of the time this is an anti-Terran thing, and Time Warp's become a lot better, but you're right, with the Nexus completing what it did, that was really nice. However, Desrow's got to be careful. I know he's got his finger over top of that recall, but that's energy he can't really afford to burn right now.
2 Colossus. Now the roaches are kind of the scariest part about this, is that if you're shooting the roaches, they don't really die fast enough, and the Hydras just sit back and do a lot of damage.
Not that many roaches, though. It's kind of scary. They do get on top of the Colossus, though. Whoa, is the Hydra's expecting to stutter step in, but he does tear down one of those beasts. I know he's going to focus the Nexus and should be able to disengage off of this, and JonSnow, well, focusing on the Stalkers. I think he's fitting for a fight, Zombie Grub.
Oh, he's actually just fighting for a win right now.
Yeah.
He takes down the Immortal, easy peasy, and the Colossus will probably
can't
stay
run.
alive. Well, it doesn't even matter.
No, I can't run. There's nowhere. That's all surface area blocked or 2 levels. GG. JonSnow evens up the series 1-1.
Oh, a bit like cheap in that game. Won't.
Oh, poor baby.
Yeah. By the way, Susanna, I heard you mess up.
Yeah, I know. But where's this thing? I gotta change the score once again because it's tied up 1-1 and map. Where's this? 2-2. Awesome. So Desrow, of course, if he can win the series, will go against the winner of Major versus Days, and alternatively, if Desrow loses or JonSnow loses, so I shouldn't say just one or the other, but we'll go against the loser of this. We don't know what match we'll be covering next, but we do know Major has 2-0'd his series. So it's kind of a scary thing to consider. Like, you might have a better chance in the losers bracket climbing up, rather than going against Major right off the bat. I mean, Major is got to be one of the scary guys in this tournament as well. Let's not forget he was, of course, the Season 1 champion. There's no overlooking that. One of the better foreign Terran players and quite a scary dude. So, you might be like, yeah, I beat Desrow, or yeah, I beat JonSnow, but then really it's like, oh, great. Major. But as we filter into the lobby for Deadwing, I'm actually very excited about this one, of course. For those who don't know, they changed a lot of the stuff up on this match to make it a little bit more balanced. The horizontal spawns were proving to be a bit of a problem, despite how cool they may have been from a Terran's point of view. Have you seen much of this since the change? I know you've been like kind of off casting for a bit.
No.
Oh man, I just got the best tweet from Zeph.
Yeah, I saw that.
See if we can get around for the Olymma League or something, I guess.
Dude, can you say it correctly? Which is to say it very cute.
What?
You're like, what actually, say it again. Hold on, what do you say?
The Olymma League?
Olymma League? It sounds like, that's not what it's called.
Okay, Olymma League?
The cutest way is the Olymma League.
Okay, whatever. Olymma League.
Holy moly.
Olymma
League.
Okay, my point is
Okay.
maybe we can get around for that. That could be some
Say, I wonder how she's gonna say it in an Australian accent. Oh, I have the perfect. Wait, what do you call it? GIF. I have the perfect GIF.
I hate that you stopped to. I mean, thank you for saying it like GIF. I appreciate that. That in itself is a gift.
Can I? Wait, are you on? I'm gonna show you on Skype. I linked it to you. I'm just gonna use that with her all the time. I know it's actually probably English, not Australian, but whatever.
My eyes starting to twitch all over the place here. Let's see.
No, it's so cute.
Cheeky bugger. Oh, I can't say the rest of that on stream.
Swear
but
my mom.
Yeah. Alright guys, Canton as we got. We're gonna hop into Deadwing and we'll see you dudes here in just a sec. Alright, welcome back, guys. Here we are in game number 3. The ace match to start the game, or to start the day. It's not too bad of a way to jump into this series, but we'll see which of these guys can take on a Deadwing in these cross-spawn locations, spawning here in the lower central portion of the map. From Solaris Gaming, it's going to be the Blue Zerg player, JonSnow.
Yep, right. As the red Protoss, it is Desrow.
And that probe's going out there pretty quick, Zombie Grub.
I know, I was just gonna say.
This is...
Well,
Well, I mean, for Desrow to get scouting, it really screams to me this is less like cannons and more like, okay, I just got early pooled. That's kind of at least how I take a look at it. Because Desrow, once again, like, he's a talented player, and I don't doubt that he can cannon rush, but it's not usually how we see him play in tournaments. Ladder, sure, but not usually here in tournaments.
yeah, it seems to be the case. He's already up to 14. Well, no, actually does throw down a forge. Okay, so, and also sending out a second probe.
Oh yeah, this is actually gonna be cannons then.
Yeah.
This is kind of cool because if JonSnow, I mean, like I said, this is kind of uncharacteristic of Desrow. If JonSnow is expected to play the macro game, take it to the mid game, you know, the 13-minute mark before aggression is shown, then this is going to catch him a little bit off guard because this is not something that he may be. I mean, I'm sure JonSnow's used to dealing with cannons, but not Desrow's cannons.
You know, this is pretty good. I mean, last time, as you said, he got, you know, Ling rushed, and in the first game, JonSnow did a 3-hatch before a pool. So, both reasons to go ahead and get a really good early scout, and also to go ahead and get a forge.
Now, the nice thing about this, we're seeing a lot of Protoss players actually, I guess, how do I phrase this, piggyback off the success of cannons lately. What I mean by this, of course, is not that you use cannons and auto win the game, but if you can buy yourself enough time, minimize the cost, you know, 2 pylons, 1 cannon, 2, or 2 cannons, 1 pylon, that sort of deal. You know, it's expensive, but it's a lot more costly for your Zerg opponent to have to cancel that natural and risk taking it somewhere more exposed so that you can follow it up with like the 4-gate or the 3-gate. Looks like Desrow has untangled his cords, whatever that entails.
Usually untangling a cord, I don't know.
Like, what cord got that? Like his mouse cord, his headsets, the keyboard, all of them together?
Yeah, his mouse cord. If you don't use a mouse bungee, you're gonna have a bad time.
You know, I use a mouse bungee, but I hate this thing. It keeps getting
My
unstuck from my desk. It's got all this cat hair underneath it, so it's no longer sticky.
I don't have... Mine's just, like, really heavy, but my cat keeps using it as a pillow.
Yeah, mine's not heavy. It's like plastic, but it's supposed to have like a sticky bottom. And
I got the TT Esports heavy duty.
Oh wow, aren't you just cool? I got some like it came free with a Razer mouse. So that's why it's
sucks.
plastic.
And you have a lot of like crappy peripheral. Not gonna lie.
We can't.
Isn't your keyboard still broken or whatever?
Look, I can't say yes or no because I don't know what sponsors are involved with Blizzard or Copa America, so I'm not gonna risk pissing people off. But yeah, my keyboard is borked. Anyways, we got Desrow expanding behind this. You know, he had the option for cannons, I think, because he realized he got scouted so early with the Overlord. You know, the drone was on him immediately. He could have maybe distracted with one and cannoned with another, but decided to play this safe instead. And a Forge expand. Let's be honest, while it's nice that it gives you the option for aggression with cannons, it's not usually something that you have to dedicate to. You know, you've got a pretty safe backing off the end of this. Lings are going to come by and get shredded by a cannon if they try to run into the base. Desrow expands, so, I mean, he's fine.
Yeah. JonSnow, I don't believe, has scouted at all yet. No, he's not. Lings are on the way, and his overlords are also. I mean, unfortunately, his overlords are going to get there last, but they're going to get in pretty prime positions to scout both the natural and the main, which is nice.
Well, I mean, like he did scout, but I mean, with horizontal spawns disabled, you know, just at least knowing where your Desrow is a good start, rather than playing blind to the 10-minute mark.
Wait, horizontal spawns were disabled?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that too, but Desrow scouted horizontal.
Did he? I don't think he did. No, he didn't.
Yeah, he went down first.
Yeah, that's verticals up and down, brah. Horizontals left and right.
Dude. I don't even have an excuse for that one. Like, I'm not tired or anything.
Okay. Back over Desrow. I can't even get over this. This Stargate. I do a lot of stupid stuff you catch me on, but this is like one of those moments I'm gonna hold on to for
Dude,
a bit of time.
wasn't I talking about how like you're always the one doing stupid stuff and you get to catch me on anything?
Yeah.
Well, now you have.
Nailed it. But okay, with the Stargate on the way for Desrow, what I do like is I feel like this Stargate might be a little too late for Oracles, but Oracles kind of work like Banshees in the regard that they're never bad at any particular point in the game, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Phoenix if I mean, especially based on the time of this. Yeah. Well, actually, he might just go one to clear out the Overlords and still go Oracle afterwards, but regardless, Desrow is... The guy likes his Colossus. He likes his late game. If it leads to Phoenix Colossus, this is certainly a map that he can tailor to his advantage. One of the really nice things is you can use Colossus to really bully your opponent's third. We've always talked about this every time we've been on this map. But defensively speaking, left and right, you can secure 4 bases against the Zerg player if done correctly. You know, wall off one side, Colossus on the other. One big engagement area protects 4 bases. You're going to have a good time with Colossus.
Yeah. It's certainly a much more appealing map than the last one we saw where, you know, King Sejong, you gotta go pretty far to protect your third, and that was part of the problem is that Desrow got, you know, pinched in and lost his Colossus. Here, that's definitely not gonna happen, and in fact, here you have a secondary wall, which is pretty nice. Like, I don't know. It's just pretty good to have, especially as a Protoss player, so you don't have the emergency warp and a Zealot. You have 2 chances to do so. But, and then the 4th is also really easy to take. I mean, you break the rocks, you take it down there. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, and I just want to address something here in chat, guys, because I want to make sure you guys don't think we're like ignoring or ignorant to it. We do police chat, so we can make sure to try and bring you a good show. All day today, I've been having issues with connecting to Twitch. As far as I could tell, it's nothing on my end. So anything you see through the odd frame drops, let's see, 237 frames of drops so far this stream, the odd stutter you're seeing, these are all things I've tried contacting Twitch about since this morning when we were casting. Sadly, this is how it's got to be. So we're not here being ignorant. We just... it's out of our hands, sadly.
Maybe it's your headset. Or maybe it's your broken...
You know what?
Teeth.
Probably...
Or maybe it's your sucky punchy.
Probably all those things combined, you know? the electrons or whatever inside the cords, they're like, you know what, let's screw with everything.
Yes, Rifkin, the electrons, and then photons, and then
atoms, science. Outside Desrow's base right now, of course, there's a small ling attack set up, but this is more, I think, to stop a third really than go in ham, because there's always going to be horse fields, always going to be sentries. I don't think what JonSnow is expecting though is for a warp prism. I mean, you see the Phoenix, and the first thing you think of, okay, Colossus.
You know, Desrow's not stopping on the Phoenixes either. He's only showing 5, but he just got a 6th, and now he's getting a 7th.
Yeah.
Ooh,
you know what? He did go really Phoenix heavy in WCS, but of course that was against Terran, a different can of worms altogether. But what is really nice, if you do go Phoenix heavy, hell, even if you go Phoenix light, I mean, with only 5 Phoenix, you can still one-shot a lot of these Hydras, and if you can shut the Hydras down, these Zealots are going to run rampant. So we'll see how much damage. Desrow's got a lot of damage potential here. I mean, truthfully, but it has to be controlled pretty perfectly, because the problem with Phoenix, while they can kill Hydras pretty quickly, they can also be killed themselves very fast.
Oh, so sucky. I mean, of course you have Phoenixes, so the Overlords wouldn't be there scouting this War Prism, but yeah, so undetected for so long. Coming back with only 1 Hydralisk, that's not helpful.
No, the Graviton Beam, they're a little bit useless, but the Zealots finish it up in the end. There's really not a lot of Hydras here, and this is what I was talking about. Like, you're just going to pick them up one at a time, you're going to have one volley them down with the power of that bonus damage versus light. I mean, the Zealots have kind of started dissipating at this point, but this was getting a little bit greedy going for the Queens, but there's still Hydras around. Like, this is just awkward is what this is. You're just picking up too much stuff.
He loses 1 Phoenix. Remember, he got 2 more than we usually see. The second one barely doesn't go down, but oh, let's be so close to these Warcrawler. A bunch of drones could go down as well. Nice.
He's out of energy, though. I mean, he's only got about 2 Graviton Beams left, so...
Oh, don't go for the Warcrawler. There's no reason to go for the Warcrawler.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is just getting a little bit greedy, a little bit risky, but gets some pretty good damage for this. I mean, at the end of the day, doesn't kill a lot of drones, but he slaughters the Hydralisk, he kills the Queens. And that resource is lost right now for JonSnow. It's not looking so hot.
Yeah. Got a couple of Spore Crawlers as well. And of course, he actually managed to keep 6 of those Phoenixes alive. Even though 2 of them are very, very near death. That actually has a total of 7, so I guess he got another one after he stopped counting. But now he's opened a path to the 3rd. JonSnow is gearing up for an attack. He was actually going across the map when this happened, so... having to pull back for as long as he did, Desrow will have 2, maybe even 3 Colossus and Experimental Lance by the time that JonSnow tries again. And going up a ramp in the first place is pretty bad, but against 3 Colossus, that's not going to happen.
No, certainly not. I like this wall coming down, though. Desrow, I mean, he's gone for your regular behind this, right? Like, the only thing abnormal about this build. I mean, even when you go Phoenix Heavy, you still go Colossus quickly behind it. The War Prism was a weird thing to see, but he did keep it alive. I love that this is still an option for Harass later on, potentially DTs down the line as well. We've seen a lot of cool games where players have come back into ZVP specifically with War Prisms, or accelerated their lead with War Prisms more than any other unit in the game.
JonSnow, though, he could, I mean, one thing that would, War Prism is a good way for the Protoss to get back in a PvZ. Mutas are a great way for the Zerg to get back in a ZVP. I've learned firsthand now how terrible Mutas are, I swear to God. But they're pretty effective. The problem is that with these Phoenixes on the field, there's actually still 7, and then, of course, that Stargate's available there. A transfer into that, might not actually be that effective. He is getting +1, but that could be for Corruptors. Well, that's actually the only other thing it could be for.
I'll chip it down the back rocks. This just opens up more areas where you can go chase the Phoenix a little bit later on. I'm liking the upgrades for JonSnow staying strong, but Desrow, I mean, he is in this position where he could turtle all day if he wants to. The Hydras aren't really going to push up that ramp too effectively. Yeah, they might tear down a gateway or two, but at the cost of an army, because the Colossus are here to defend. And Desrow's always got that option of the Warp Prism as well, let's not forget. Corruptors are on the way. Be a little bit interesting to see. Instead of a massive amount of Stalkers, we also have some Phoenixes to also bully the Corruptors back, so they can't really just dive for the Colossus like we normally see.
Yeah, and Desrow's already getting up to a Templar Archive, so he could be mixing in Storms and Archons to help buffer against the Corruptors, just, YOLOing into the Phoenixes and the Colossus. I mean, with Phoenixes included, it takes so many Corruptors to really, I don't know, to really take down the Colossus and actually get away at all. It's a big investment. And Roach Hydra Corruptor is really like a lair-oriented, mid-game-oriented build. You have a few really, hard punches, but then you want to be getting on to something else that's a little bit greater. So Swarm Host, Broodlord, Swarm Host, or Mutas. Well, usually Swarm Hosts. Desrow, he's pushing out. He's not quite maxed, but he is placing down a... Well, actually, he has that War Prism, so he doesn't need to place down a Proxy Pylon at all. But JonSnow, he needs a good concave. He needs to actually tackle the entire army.
This is going to hurt. I mean, yeah, it comes in segmented first off because of the Force Fields, but also, as you're right, he just isn't ready for this attack. Colossus are simply not going down. The Corruptors get melted for absolutely nothing at all. Hydras are being driven back, but the Time Warps have been wasted is the one good thing, I guess. That's not even that big of a deal, though, because Desrow's still got a really strong standing army.
The concave is very, very good for JonSnow. That is what is saving him right now from just dying. If that was a choke, Desrow YOLOs into that, and that's no problem. Now, though, he does lose most of the Phoenixes. A lot of his buffer is gone. Now just down to strictly Blinkstalkers and those Corruptors. Desrow maybe not wanting to push in again. Looks like he's trying to actually get a 4th up behind this, and that's a pretty good maneuver, including High Templars, Archons. Getting that Storm as well is going to be very useful. You could only expect Vipers to come out soon after seeing that type of army. JonSnow not even trying to remake those Corruptors is probably his best move.
Honestly, Desrow's got to be careful, though. He's getting a little bit ballsy with those Stalkers, but blinks away just in time. I like the Hive Tech on the way here, though. One thing that has been lacking a little bit for JonSnow, like he's got a massive army supply. That's great, but you got to complement it with something else. Roaches and Hydras alone won't bring you victory, well, unless Desrow's not paying attention to an engagement. But as soon as we start seeing Vipers stuck into this mix, that's what makes this so much more powerful. Corruptors are cool, but I kind of feel like Vipers in the right hands are always going to win, like every single time in comparison. But the War Prism we were talking about before. Patience like a ninja. Desrow has been holding this back for a long time. Finally unload some Zealots over here towards that 4th base. He's going to warp in the main. And all this behind him, he's still got Storms researching, so hopefully, that'll get some really nice layered AoE on top of these Hydras, which are already weak as is. 80 health is not a lot to start. Colossus Beams, Storms, they're going to melt.
Yeah, I'm not feeling so great for JonSnow right here. I can't say that he's totally a Swarmhost player. He's really not a Swarmhost player, but that is, I mean, sometimes people go Swarmhost not because they, want to make you cry, but because it is the most effective way to deal with this late game Protoss army. Roach Hydra Viper, when there's already feedbacks available, and should the feedbacks be good, just do not stand up for very long. And Broodlords, I mean, they're okay, especially with Fungals and Blinding Puff, and they're awesome. But in this big map in cross position...
Right, there's nowhere to really settle them. They're going to always be in the open. Desrow can blink under them if necessary. Not that you ever really want to blink a lot of Stalkers under Broodlords, but might be his best option since there are no Void Rays or anything available. Tempest might come out a little bit later if he's that concerned about it, but I think we're gonna have a possibly game-deciding fight happen before those Brood Lords come into effect. Desrow is tentative though, and what is scary about this is this gives JonSnow the time to get that Ultros Cavern up to possibly actually have Brood Lords available in play. I mean, the Warp Prism Harass was cool, it was good. You can still keep it up when the actual attack comes. So, leading the charge here with the Templar, like this choice, can be able to throw down some feedbacks pretty much instantly on Vipers, but also some Storms if they get caught a little off guard.
Oh, feedbacks. Oh, nothing but Storms so far. There's the feedbacks, and they actually all die. Only one Colossus was pulled. Yeah,
not too bad. Desrow slowly cutting his back, but the Blink Stalker count is starting to bleed out. That's the buffer for this army. The Hydras may have been taken out, but there's still a lot of Roaches standing. Turning around to retreat, JonSnow is going to try and regroup. 21 Roaches and 13 Hydras about to pop, but this was a majority of his bank. Now knocked down to what is merely 2k minerals. Not even, still spending even more of that. So really worried about the fallout from this. Desrow unloads in the main once again while this is happening. I mean, for JonSnow, I mean, his eyes are in the late game here with the melee, right? Like, he's got Adrenal Glands on the way, he wants those Ultras, the Brood Lords where he can, but everything he has to fight with is upgraded through range. So, a little bit uncomplimentary, I guess, in that regard.
Yeah, and these Vipers, the High Templars are still here. These Vipers, they won't have time to get energy, and even if they do...
Oh, Storms are looking pretty sexy, though. JonSnow must be hungry, because he's eating a lot of these. Colossus Beams are doing a ton of damage, too, but these Hydras just sitting through the Storms! Oh my goodness, damage from Desrow is just way too much, and JonSnow, that's... Oh, there's one Colossus standing, but even then he can't deal with this. GG, well played.
So we will have Desrow versus Major in the winners